First technical tip, get yourself off mute, okay, before you start any talk. Just listening into all those bad things. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next 45 minutes. I've got so many bad ideas in my head now. So that's really kind of ruined it for me. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you can now see. Thumbs up if you can see the screen. Good. Yeah, so the first thing I must apologize for is the actual slide deck. Yeah, I got some 2-bit guy to do it for me on the cheap. So yeah, if you don't like the slide deck, it's not my fault. You know, it was a good deal, basically. So yeah, it's going to all be about LinkedIn and how you can get LinkedIn to work for you rather than working against you. So yeah, LinkedIn profiler is what I am. And what LinkedIn's profiles do for you is it helps you build strong relationships. It also helps you generate some constant leads. Yeah, those are things that actually could turn into business rather than you just spending hours on LinkedIn getting nowhere fast. And yeah, revenue. Yeah, we need revenue coming in, and LinkedIn can produce revenue. And I will show you how to do some of those. But here's a little bit of the history, the boring bit about LinkedIn. It was 18 in May this year because it started in 2003. Migrated across into the UK about 2004. And then they set up an office in the UK in 2008. Then most of us probably joined in the noughties. We went onto LinkedIn, we put up our CV and we kind of just left it there and just hoped people would find us. That's what most people did for the first few years. In 2012, many of the larger companies noticed that the LinkedIn was a database, and a database which was growing at a fair old rate. There were lots of other things you could do with it. What we're now looking at is, we could be able to do more things as well. It filters down the ranks to the solopreneurs. We are now able to use LinkedIn for more than just finding jobs. Yeah, 2006, a well-known American company just looked down the back of the sofa and found 26.2 billion, and they purchased LinkedIn with the money. And then the one that is not really sort of known, because I get this a lot from people, in 2018, it was split away as a pure social media. It is not an Instagram, it is not a Facebook. There are elements, definitely elements of social media in LinkedIn. That's not how it's perceived. It's perceived as a personal platform for professional people. As of today, there's 756 million user accounts. That was accurate when I typed it, but as it grows at 3 per second, I'm wrong probably straight away. Also, LinkedIn, great. They claim it to be in 200 countries. There's an issue with that. Yeah, there aren't 200 countries in the world. So I've dumbed it down a little bit to 190, probably about right. And in this country, yeah, that's 31.2 million user accounts currently out there. I can't claim that they're all in use or even in use properly, but that is the current figures. So LinkedIn, top tips for business. We're in business. We want LinkedIn to actually help us with our business rather than just gobble up all that time. The first thing, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's a database. It's a rather large database. Therefore, defining your keywords is really important. This is one of the things I work with my clients very early on in the process, because ultimately it's a search engine, but people don't know how to search properly. There'll be people in this room that when I say Boolean, I'll probably mispronounce it, it's probably Boolean, but Boolean searches, you can get some really accurate results. But most people I know, when I say that word, just go, what are you talking about? They don't understand it. So they're doing some very generic searches. So, you know, some business coaches in the room, there's a podcast ladies, all those things in the room. But ultimately, because people are searching so badly, that you're not the only person that's going to come up in the search. I hate to break it to you. No, if you put a search in for speaker, it's not just going to be those people in the room today. It's going to be quite a few other people. And once we define our keywords, we can get that pond that we're swimming in down to a much more manageable size. The way to go about it is probably going to have to go to 3 words. Very rarely can you get 2. I'm quite lucky, really, because LinkedIn Profiler is, actually, here's a story. Yeah, in February last year, before the pandemic struck, It was 2055. I don't know why I remember the number. I just do. This morning, 3,300. Yeah, where do those other ones come from all of a sudden? Are they really linked to the experts? But no. But that's still quite a small pond to swim in the world. So have a look at your keywords. Put a search into the search bar at the top of LinkedIn for what you think you are, and see what the results come out as. Okay, you can filter it down, just choose the UK if that's where you mainly work. And, have a look at that figure. Is it a rather large pond? In which case you might have to look at your keywords. When you do get the figure down to somewhere between 10 and 20,000 or less, don't go too niche and end up with 3 dogs and a cat looking at you. Let's just get it sort of down and niche it. Then you can sprinkle it around your LinkedIn profile and LinkedIn will pick up. It's not like the old days, don't put it on every 3rd line and, oh God, no. But in the sections of the about section, your experience section, they will expect to see it and they pick up on it. So get those keywords defined. You'll be really surprised if you just put in what you think you are as how many other people are in the same category. Get the top of your profile engaging. This really is all about what's above my head, the 7-second syndrome. Yeah, I like my 3 letters in a row like this. 7-second syndrome, quite simply, is what those marketing gurus tell us is the average attention span of a gnat. Ooh, sorry, no, I meant a human being, actually. A human being, when they're looking at a website, they take 7 seconds to look and see whether they're actually going to engage. Remember, they've done a really poor search in the first place, so there's lots of other people they can look at. 7 seconds isn't much. You need to make sure you capture them in that, or they might just click off and go and visit a competitor. So we need to avoid the 7-second syndrome. How do we go about it? What are they looking at in 7 seconds? Quite simply, 4 key areas. And it doesn't matter if you've gone to the dark side and bought a Mac, or you've got a PC, a phone or a tablet, it doesn't really matter. These all show the banner across the top, your headshot, the headline, and finally, yeah, the first 3 lines of your about section, which we can see before that dreaded little see more button. So you need to, your banner needs to tell your story. You need to get it across to people what it is that you do. What can you offer them? Are they in the right place? If you're searching and you've come up, is it you that they're looking for? It needs to tell a story. So how about this then? Wow, that really tells a story. And I haven't bothered, for those that obviously know LinkedIn, this is the old standard banner, but really doesn't really matter. I could put up the nice new pastely one, it still has the same effect. It doesn't tell me anything about this person. So when I land on their profile, yeah, I don't know what it is that they can do for me. On the other hand, we can have a banner like this, where, yeah, very quickly, we can tell if you're looking for a WordPress web designer or developer, we put it into the search engine. This gentleman is telling us really quickly that is exactly what he does. So we know we're in the right place. We put the search in, we've landed on the right thing. Tick in the box. This one gets contentious. And I know some creatives in the room will probably argue with it, but that's okay, that's fine. I love discussion. But professional headshots only is really what we're looking for. Because ultimately, we're looking for people to spend money with us. So we kind of got to look professional. So we have 2 examples of headshots I just don't think work. So Dave, would you like to monitor the chat? What's wrong with the one on the left, my fellow speakers? What turns you off about the one on the left? Why would you not have this as your profile picture? I have my own thoughts, but I'd love to know yours. What is it that's wrong with that one? Anything coming through, David?
We have stance too far away, the background, want to see face, not clear.
Yeah, pretty much everything like that. The one I really hate, you haven't mentioned, hands in pockets. Yeah, I'm old fashioned. It doesn't look good. I don't like it. But yes, it looks like this guy's had a photograph taken in the reception of a wedding in a hotel garden. Is it professional? Not on any level. Can I actually make out his features? No. So really, no, not at all. More interesting, the one on the right-hand side. What are people's thoughts on this? Why don't I like this?
Nothing coming through yet, but I would say because there's no picture of a person. Yeah, not personal coming through.
Yeah, it is exactly that. This is a personal profile platform. Therefore, I want to see the person whose platform profile it is. Oh, I looked at this, and it actually someone told me eventually what it was about. And I'm not a fan of company logos and all that as headshots, but yeah, Galahad opticians. K, what's this all about? Well, it's actually the Kingsman franchise, and Galahad's one of the main characters in the films. I don't know whose profile this was. They got nothing to do with the film whatsoever. So kind of, yeah, pretty much useless. But here we go with someone in this we might know. Some of us will know the lady on the right-hand side. That was the professional headshot she's had done. Head and shoulders, plain background, bit of a smile on her face. Yeah, and also those of in the room that like branding, we know it's her colors. Gentleman on the left-hand side, I know that he took that with an iPhone, but again, it's composed nicely, plain background, bit of a smile. When you look at that, it looks professional, and you can actually identify him by it. And the other key thing is, how old is your profile picture? Have I got to say, my God, you were good looking 10 years ago? I've done that a few times recently. No, we need to be able to identify the person, so it needs to be as recent as possible. Yeah, your headline is not your job title. This one is something that on a regular basis I see when I look at profiles. I reckon I've looked at over 100,000 profiles now in the 15 years I've been doing this. And yeah, back in the old days, in the noughties, that was what you put out there. It was your job title, but no more. No, there's a lot more. And again, what LinkedIn are really good at doing is making changes. So the headline has gone up the number of characters you can put in there. We're now at 220, which the Mac users had for a little while, but PCs are now caught up. So yeah, this is pretty much a leftover from the old days, the regional director at the Alpha Group International. And my sort of summary of that is, so what? It doesn't mean an awful lot to me, the viewer. Regional director, okay, so you've got a reasonably good job. I don't know what the Alpha Group International actually does. Doesn't work for me at all. But now we've got those characters, we can use them. This is the web guy from earlier. You know, he's told us what he does, but also he's used something that I use. He's used some questions. He's used questions that his ideal client will be going yes to. Because ultimately, when you go onto someone's profile, you leave behind in the who's viewed my profile, your headshot and these 220 characters. But also when you go and make a comment on someone's post, again, you leave this behind. Other people can see it. So why not use it as an advert? And we've already got the little loudspeaker next to our names, which some of us will be using. But did you realize that that loudspeaker next to your name isn't just for those people with hard to pronounce names? It's a 10-second long audio clip. Mine's an advert for me. It's a good idea to do that as well. This guy's asking questions. He's getting people, the ideal client, are going to be going, yes, yes, oh God, yeah, I need the help. And he's even gone as far as actually putting in there that he wants you to book a call. He's put a call to action in there. I say that, you know, a good construction is ask the question, put a credibility statement in there. So mine, I've been doing this 15 years, and then put an outcome. You know, the outcomes that my clients want is, I don't want you to spend a lot less time on this, Tony, but I want to get far better results. So again, that's what I do. I put it in there. People can see that on a post. They click through to my profile and they're confronted by that banner. Yeah, that's the reason. It tells me exactly what it is that I do. They know they're in the right place. And then the first three lines of about section. If they get to it, if you haven't lost them already, this is the last vital bits, because the first three lines are followed by a ... see more. And if they don't click that on that see more, they're not going to see the rest of your about section, which again, good old LinkedIn's changed. So those of us that are working towards the 2,000 limit, yep, no, that's been increased now. It's 2,600. So you've got some more words you can put in, more characters you can put in there. So yeah, the other thing is about me, the viewer. The first 3 lines of your about section need to talk to me. They need to continue the good work from the headline to engage me. So when I actually do get to that ... see more, I want to press it. I need to know more because you've been asking me questions. You've been engaging me, not talking about yourself. That comes afterwards. You can then put that on the 4th line. But, you know, if you don't engage them, they're never going to push that see more button. They're off to see someone else who's actually has engaged them. Could be your biggest competitor for all you know. And our problem is with the 7-second syndrome, you're probably not always going to pick up who these people are. So yeah, good example. Do you want to save money? Do you? Talking to me about the things that I would be interested in, possibly why I looked this person up in the first place. And then he starts as a business cost expert. I work with businesses of all sizes and what? I need to find out more. And that's exactly what it's about. Getting them past that 7 seconds and into the main part of your profile about section. So it must inform. As I say, it's recently been increased to 2,600 characters. So most of us have probably got some room to add some bits to it. After those first 3 lines, which are in, you know, the domain of the viewer, it's all about you and what it is that you've done. Not big sales pitch, but yeah, some of your achievements, some of your processes, the things that really work. Okay, yeah, again, Mac users get some funny icons they can use. Windows users don't. Actually, bullet points on their own work really quite well. It just emphasizes the 2 areas I tell people are really worth looking at. What are you specializing in? Because you've probably got a generic title, but you've probably got key areas where you specialize in doing that. And the second one, which is probably more interest to them, yeah, some bullet points of what are the benefits of working with you? Because that's the outcome that they're looking for. Really useful. And then, you know, what we got here, right in the middle of me talking about myself, drop in a testimonial, bit of social proof. It works really, really well. All of a sudden, you've been saying you do this, you do that. And then someone comes in and says, yeah, I work with Dave Henson. My God, the results were outstanding. All of a sudden, I start to believe more about Dave's profile now, that someone's giving him social proof. Really good. And I left the bottom in deliberately because this is what a lot of people do. So I could actually put a little X against this because there's 2,600 characters there. Take me 2 or 3 minutes to go through it. And if you've engaged me, oh, great. What do I do next? Yeah, this person's given me too many options. And if you give people too many options, they choose none of them. And through historic doing this for the length of time I've been doing it, and I don't know why, but people just don't pick up the phone like they used to. So asking someone to call you is probably not a great idea as an option because A, you might answer the phone, they might have to talk to you. Oh my God. But also, are you going to be available? You know, we're on this bloody screen all day long. You might not pick the phone up. And who likes talking to answer phones? Yeah. So you might not get the engagement. What about your website? Brilliant, fantastic. Some of us will have a contact form on there. They might even find it, could even fill it in. But generally speaking, they possibly won't. And they just look at the website. Again, there's no outcome at the end of that. But ask them to email you. Yeah, they don't mind emailing you. It works really, really well. So something as basic as for a free 15-minute consultation with Amy, email Amy at. Put it in capitals. Remember, I said to you earlier, this is not social media. We're not shouting at people. We're just making it very obvious what the next steps are. If we tell them what the next steps are, they might just go ahead and take them. My gosh, this could be a lead coming in. The other one that people ask me about, yeah, there's 2 things there. This gentleman's got a booking site. I use one. Yes, you can put that in as well. I don't think that's too bad. When I get asked about, well, Tony, you're about LinkedIn. Why the hell aren't you asking people to message you on LinkedIn? Great. So I just sort of make, what are we now? 756 million people. I don't know them all. Most of them are 3rd-line connections. And unless they got premium, they can't message me anyway. So I've excluded 99.99% of LinkedIn by doing it. Not a great idea. Don't do it. It's not worth it. So yeah, a bad example. I am keen, I am this, I am that. Because it's never going to get anyone to the point of wanting to engage with you. Now I'm going to have to drop the word new out of here because the feature section isn't new. But for some people, it still is. So I've left it in there for now. Have you got the features section? If not, go and have a look at the top of your profile, just under your name. And again, a big change on LinkedIn. They changed it from add profile section to add section. My God, the intern was busy that day, wasn't he? Click on it. You'll notice that there's a load of options within that add profile, or add section as it is now. One of them is the features section. Definitely worth doing. Now, some of us who've been around a while remember the old about section where you could put some uploads and some links at the bottom of it, and they will appear as little thumbnails underneath your about section. This is massive improvement over that. It allows you to do 4 things. From the plus button up here, you can add in posts, you can add in your article, you can add in media, and you can add in uploads, documents. Posts, again, I don't think that's a very good use of the feature section, because posts should really be of the moment. So those of you that are using third-party software to schedule it, stop it now. It doesn't work. And also LinkedIn are closing those sort of accounts down. Don't do it. Articles, yes. Yeah, articles get a bad rap, get bad press, mainly around that they don't get much in the way of reach, which is LinkedIn's way of saying where they're going to push it out to. And that's actually true. Lots of rumors on LinkedIn, a lot of them rubbish. This one's quite true. But there are ways and means around it. So whenever I do my monthly article, I always pin it, using an old-fashioned term, into my features section. I can also put links in there. Yeah, this is the safest place on LinkedIn to put a link to your website, because the engine's built the fact that when they go to the website, when they finish and click, they come back into LinkedIn. You don't upset them. Stick a link into free text on LinkedIn, they get a bit upset because you've taken someone away and they're not going to come back naturally to the site. And then finally, yeah, media. You can upload documents, pictures, PDFs, but also video. Yeah, video, really powerful, really useful on LinkedIn in other areas. But you can upload a video into it. When you click the button, it doesn't ask you to enter a YouTube URL. No, never will, because they hate each other. What it's asking for is whereabouts on your laptop or your computer is this video. So I teach my clients that actually the best way of doing it is what we're on now, Zoom. Yes, you can record on Zoom. Why not record the session? But don't invite anyone to it. Just talk to the camera, put up, share a screen, put up a virtual background. But yes, you can put a video into the feature section. This all gets indexing, points towards those search results which we need to be found by the right sort of people. Yeah, be active or fade away. The fuel that drives LinkedIn is the activity. The activity is massively affected by the current algorithm, and that changes at least twice a year. So guess what? We're halfway through this year. It's just about to change again. I know it is, and I've already seen some of the side effects of it. What I haven't got is the report yet, where I can disseminate what the changes are. And that report will basically, once I've got it in my hands, I can get it down into do this, don't do this. So there are certain things that you can do on LinkedIn which will increase your reach, get it out to a bigger audience. There's a longer list of things you do that can actually reduce your reach. That's what we need to avoid. So yeah, posts, probably the biggest part of being on LinkedIn, activities around posts. Now they just increased recently, the post limit. But there are 2 forms of posts. There's a short form and a long form post. Now, a little tip from me, if you're going to do a long form post, which you're going to use all the characters, it's nice to just put a little polite reminder at the top that this is going to be an X minute read. Then the person can make a judgment whether they got the time to read it or not. I use 225 words per minute as a rough reading speed, because the attention span these days being so small. But in the top right hand corner of any post that you see in your feed, there's 3 dots. press on those dots, and the first option now is to save. You can now save this wonderful post by Jez. Later on, you can go back into it. You'll find it in your left-hand menu under saved or my items. You can then go look at it at your leisure and then delete it. But then so can people do that for you. If you let them know, so I see it coming through, you know, that post from Richard, please put it's 8 minutes long. I haven't got 8 minutes at the moment in time, I'm busy, but I want to read it. I just push that button and I save it for later. The posts are really, really important. So some of the things you can do on posts that will increase your reach are things such as adding images, adding that video, or adding documents. All these things will add to your reach, ever increasing as well. Pictures, I personally believe many people are visually orientated. They see, I know when I see my feeds, the first thing I see is an image will always catch my eye, but long before the words ever do. So yeah, put some images in there. The stats say there's not a massive amount of difference. One of the things I disagree with LinkedIn, I don't believe that. But actually everyone I speak to about this says, yeah, it's the images that I would see first. We also got articles. Yeah, articles a lot longer. So again, the first thing I would do on an article is just let people know how long it's going to take to read it. But it does get really poor reach. It just sort of dribbles out the end and flops on the floor. And yeah, not many people see it. So a lot of people stop writing articles. Well, actually, they're still valid. They are great ways of positioning yourself as an expert in your field. And there are ways and means of getting those articles seen by a lot more people. But don't stop doing them. They are very valid still. As I say, the download. So the documents, the third one underneath the post, after the word hashtag, which I don't really understand hashtags, I have to say. But yeah, if you're going to use hashtags on LinkedIn posts, between 3 and 6, please. We're not on Instagram. We don't want to see hundreds of bloody things, please. 3 to 6 is what they're looking for. But the one next to that is called documents. It's a download. And what it means is actually when you post and add a document, the person who sees it go through their feeds, when they run the cursor over it, realizes there's a download button and they can download it straight to the desktop as a PDF. So you've got any announcements, any events coming up, any tip sheets, things like that. It's also getting between 40 and 60% increase in your reach by doing it. So it's a great way of doing it. And I've got to be honest here, one of my clients spotted this before me. Damn. Another rule around LinkedIn, the minimum amount of words they want to see in a post is 3 lines. So if you've got a longer post, just put 3 lines and add a document with the rest of the main part of it in there. You're going to get more reach by doing it. Nice little tip from that person. Wish I'd thought of it, but you know, I'm happy to share it. Video, yeah, as I say, they're looking for videos from your desktop. You're getting 20 to 40% extra reach by doing video. But there's rules around videos as well. 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, is where the reach starts to drop. Also, most people's attention span is probably waned by that stage as well. So we don't really want to be doing them longer than 2 minutes. We're going to get reduced reach and attention span. The ones I put out there, yeah, somewhere between 15 seconds and a minute long. Short, sharp. But the other thing about video, certainly going out on the post side of things, is by default, it's muted. People can't hear it unless they click on it and open it up. And guess what? Yeah, people are lazy. They don't bother. So you've got a lot of videos like, yeah, you can see the person is talking, but you don't know what they're saying, and you just can't be bothered to do it. I know some of you do, so I've seen your videos. Subtitles are a massive, massive plus point in this respect. Put them on there, then it doesn't matter about the sound. Also, considering the sound, if we were in the room today all together, and I'm talking on stage, and someone actually has a video come through and it starts blaring out, yeah, not clever. That person's going to get slightly chastised. But put a nice set of subtitles on there. There's plenty of free software out there where you can get a limited amount of minutes per month for nothing. I use Get Subly. I get 10 free minutes a month, which means I can do a load of 30-second videos and there's no charge to me. But all my viewers, because they're going to be viewers, can see the video. They can read the words. They don't have to listen to my voice. They can turn it on if they want to, but it's not necessary. And that's really, really important, because otherwise you could be having a really fantastic tip you're giving people, but they haven't actually turned on the volume to hear it. And then discussions in groups. Yeah, those of us that have been on LinkedIn for a long, long time remember groups quite fondly, actually, because they used to work. They used to work really quite nicely. I worked with a group of people. I set up a group called Collaboration in the Thames Valley, and we managed to secure a £30,000 contract through collaborating together. But the groups were putting the messages through to all the members. They were really buzzy, really, really. And then that big corporation in America found that chump change, bought the product, and then cut them off at the knees. Groups no longer became what they used to be. And actually, you'll find many groups on LinkedIn that might have some impressive numbers of members, no activity for a long, long time. People just stop using them. We've had a go at LinkedIn, and we've said repeatedly we need to get groups back, because when they first put groups out there, they're at the bottom. They're in that little box right at the bottom of your profile, which says interests, or as I name it, the things that Microsoft weren't interested in, just throw it in a box at the bottom because they couldn't be bothered. And you have to go down there to find them. People just really are not going to bother. But now, actually, a really weird thing that they did is at the top, just to the right of your me picture that you go on to view your profile, there's a little box called work. Click on that, and in there, groups. Click on that, 2 clicks, you're into the groups, and it shows you the groups that you're a member of, and also the ones that you run, etc. The thing is, if you're in a group, there's a little bell notification right at the top. And they did start actually putting out on there about that you can change your notification settings, but they've kind of dropped that already, which is a bit pointless. When you click the bell, there are 3 settings. So you can choose the level of interaction you're going to get from that group. A lot of them might be just set on nothing, so you're never going to hear from that group. But the other 2 settings are highlights and actually all posts from the group. You can change it. So actually now you're starting to get, and I get notifications from some of the groups I'm in on a reasonably regular basis, but not every 5 seconds. So the groups are starting to work for me. I use my group to actually inform my clients as well. So groups are coming back. Go into groups, start making discussions in those groups. Make a comment on someone else's post. The trick here is that there's going to be some 3rd line connections in these groups. Now, those of you know that actually you need to spend some money with LinkedIn, purchase premium. I think it's £47 last time I looked, but I've not been looking for a long time. And you get these lovely fabled emails where you send someone an email and they just totally ignore it, because it's no different to you giving them a cold call. It don't really, really work. But if you see someone that's making a comment in a group and they're a 3rd line connection, you can make a comment underneath in this in their post. All of a sudden, they're now aware of you. So I actually include their name in my comments on there. They get a notification. Oh, wait a second. Then after a little while, I just say, will it make sense for us to connect directly? And in 14 years of doing that, 92, 93% success rate. My email success rate, about 7. I'm being charged for that 7% where I'm getting the rest of it for free. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that very often. So you can get to people through that. But I say when I do the training, you can go in. I wouldn't spend a massive amount of time in groups, but they're coming back. Don't totally ignore them. Oh, my favorite area. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I've got a slide for this one, but because of the time we've got here, the piece in your profile just before this is called skills and endorsements. Totally flawed. Don't waste your time with it. It really isn't worth it. People don't tend to ask for endorsements. You probably find somewhere down the line that all of a sudden you had 50 skills in there that you never put in there. No, LinkedIn did. Shouldn't have done it. A bit naughty. Some of those skills are really generic because they've scraped, which they don't like anyone else doing, but they've scraped the profile and thrown in skills looking at your profile. Now, this could be from your historic work, which has nothing to do with what you currently do. So you could have been an accountant, but now you're doing something completely different, but it's in there. And the thing is that I land on Amy's profile. I go, At the top, I'm presented with a box. And it says, hey, what's Amy's top skill? Well, I know what it is, but I mean, if I don't know her, and this is the problem, if I didn't know her, it gives me a selection of 4 skills, any 4 skills. So if you've got 50 skills and some of them are historic, they could gel well and truly put that up there. And to prove the point, I put in knitting, added knitting as a skill. I've got 2 endorsements for it. Yeah, it just proves it doesn't really work because it takes a nanosecond to do it. So I don't tell people to spend much time. If you're going to, certainly you need to do a little bit of work. So go into the edit mode, a little pencil, a little 45p pencil edit mode on LinkedIn. Go in there, the dustbin on the right hand side. Yeah, get rid of the ones from the dustbin that are no longer relevant to you. And also, you know, are you experts? I think everyone in this room that I know is an expert in what they do. They're not a jack of all trades. So having 20 to 30 skills doesn't make sense to me. Just hone it down, lose some of the generic ones as well. But also you might see the top 3 skills you have. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that they are the top 3 endorsed skills. So those are the ones you've got the most endorsements for. If you've been doing the same thing all your life, brilliant, because it would have come from the historic. If you have changed, you might find that some of those top 3 skills, which are shown before the see more button again, are no longer really that relevant. Again, you can go into the edit button. Those top 3 skills have a little green pin next to them. When you click the green pin, it disappears. It drops down into the lower sections. Go into the lower section and find something else that looks a bit better, more relevant to what you're doing. Click on it, it goes up to the top. And the final thing you can do, on the far right hand side, just other side of the dustbin, there's 4 lines. Drag and drop, reordering. You can then reorder those. So actually to the outside world, you're showing them the 3 skills that you really want to be endorsed for if anyone's going to bother in the order that you want them. And that's what you do. But I think it's faulty. I don't ever ask for endorsements. I don't really, it's riddled with problems. But social proof, no, that isn't. That is really something that a lot of people don't spend enough time looking at. So a bad example is very common, actually. I removed the name, but I could have had probably, 95,000 people in here that I've looked at fall into this category. And that is the number of received is less than 10. In fact, on average, it's between 3 and 5. Now, as speakers, I expect you all to be far and above that. So, you know, also the dates, you know, look at this. This is 11 years out of date. The average is 2 or 3 years. That really doesn't work. So if someone's landing on your profile and they've done this search, they're comparing you with Mr. X, Mrs. X, and Mrs. X actually is a bit more like the second slide from a lady we do know who unfortunately has had to leave the room. Yeah, then this is old by Michelle standards. I did this slide a long time ago because she's down at 538. It was November last year I did this. But when I did it, you know, the number's massively impressive. She's in the top 1 or 2%, you know, in the world. But also you'll find that when you look at her too, they're always constantly up to date. She's got lots of recommendations and they're always nice and fresh and new. Well, that tells a person who looks on the profile and again doesn't know them from Adam, doesn't know me from Adam, will see, oh, there's quite a few recommendations in there and they're nice and fresh and new. They mean that the perception is that you're currently doing some good work. If it's 2 or 3 years out of date and you've only got 3 or 4, yeah, just think about people could, and the problem is they don't know how wonderful you are. They've never met you. And this is the issue. For people that meet you, it's irrelevant. But there's quite a lot of people on LinkedIn that don't actually know you and have never met you. So social proof is really, really powerful. I ask for recommendations. I probably ask 8 times a month because ultimately I know I'm going to get the 2 back that I need, which will show before the fold. And it's not that the other 6 people don't want to give me recommendations. I'm sure they do. Life gets in the way, they forget. But yeah, generally speaking, if you ask people, they're usually more than willing. When you do it, when you go through the template in there, it has a generic. So you choose your job title, you choose the relationship between you. So there's actually nothing stopping you going back and talking about things that happened a little while ago. You can ask for recommendations from the previous role. It's still going to add towards the number. But when you do that, you have some choices. And when it comes back to you, when you've asked them, and the third bit of that template is, would you write me a recommendation? What for? It doesn't tell you in the standard template. So if you've just been on stage, you've just been on stage, wowing the crowd, and you've got a list of the attendees, and you picked a few that you want a recommendation for, you're going to put that in the recommendation requests about my recent presentation that you were at, the workshop that I did, the working of the one-to-one. Tell them, then you might get back a recommendation which actually means something. But when it comes back, you've still got a bit of power because there's two buttons. One says, oh yeah, could you sort of make a little change to this because you haven't quite got it right, which I always say is my fault because I haven't given them the right guidance. But there might be a grammatical error there, or actually a lady the other week missed a word out and the sentence didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I just sent it back to her and she laughed and sent it back. And then you've got a little toggle switch which says show or hide. If you get it back and you rather have a stronger one showing the recent ones you've got in, you hide it. It still contributes towards the total. So never delete them, just hide them from view. Recommendations, just get in the routine of asking, it can be something like this, I might well ask after this session tonight for a few beautiful recommendations. There's always reasons to be asked. It hasn't got to be from the paying client, but social proof, it is powerful. And some additional nuggets before the question and answer section. How to search in a standard free version, or you can go and buy Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is a fantastic product. I won't have a word said against it. But for many of the people I speak to, it's too complicated. It takes too long. They haven't got the time. But if you're a larger company, you can dedicate someone to look after that. Fantastic product. But let's say we want to do some searches and want to use the standard. We can get a fairly accurate result. So yeah, I put in here human resources as my search criteria. HR directors are a real favorite of people when I ask them this question when I'm working with them. Click on the people, because when you first do it, it just brings up a list of people. It doesn't tell you how many. You have to click on the people thing to get that to come up. So human resources, there's 13 million. So if anyone in this room can actually go through that list for me, there's a Ferrari in the car park for you. You're going to die before you get to the end of it, unfortunately, so the Ferrari's safe. Go and click on the All Filters button. It's now a button. It wasn't for quite a while. It was just words and you didn't even know you could click on it, because this gives you 10 standard filters. The first one's connections, and you always need to do this one because first line connections, well, you know them, you're connected to them. Now, if you haven't got premium, you can't talk to the third line directly, but obviously we know we can do it through groups. So I'm always going to check the second line connections. Then, location, you can define it by location. So I work in the UK. I'm going to do that. Scroll down, you can then do by industries. There's lots of different sections. And right at the bottom, there's actually one you can actually enter someone's name in. I probably don't know their name, but I will know their job title that I want. So I want to be talking to directors, partners, owners of companies, someone who can make a decision to use me. So I'm going to put that in there as well. And what that means is that when I get the results, it drops dramatically from that 13 million down to probably a couple of thousand. But if I then do it by local area to me, quite often I can get results down below 50 within about 90 seconds of putting the search engine requesting in the first place. I say to people, right, there's 50 people that fit in. They're in your area, they're in HR, they're in the industry that you wanted them to be in. But don't just go and click on connect. Big mistake at the moment in time. Don't just connect with people. You'll have a look at their profile. And if it's someone you think, yeah, I want to engage with this person, message them. Okay. Well, my message is always something around the lines of, just did a highly targeted search on LinkedIn and you come out in the top 16, Amy. Fancy a chat. And of course, Amy's curious. Amy's ego is maybe being stroked at the same time. So 1 in 10 people go, yeah, how did you do that? I show them how. So it's a really good way. If you connect to too many people currently on LinkedIn, it goes into a little folder. And when you go and manage your connections and manage my network, you'll notice that in the sent folder, it shows you all the ones that you've sent that haven't been responded to. So they haven't declined, they haven't agreed. That list gets a little bit longer, and LinkedIn spot it and start, rightly or wrongly, they assume that you're spamming people because they're not responding to. And once you've been spamming people, yeah, welcome to LinkedIn jail. Welcome to your frozen account. If you keep doing it, welcome to goodbye. When you're in the Me button, as I said earlier, you mostly go into there and you look at your profile. Drop down a couple, go into the settings and profile, and realistically, spend 20 or 30 minutes having a good nose around in there. There are lots of things in there that you can do. One, go and have a look at the email addresses associated with your account. I spoke to someone earlier who couldn't get back to their account because it was set up like mine was many years ago, and that email address doesn't exist anymore. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. If you haven't got your phone number in the contacts and you want it, add it in there. But there's also visibility things. Do you actually want people seeing your connections? Also, when I land on Amy's, you're in the middle, Amy, that's why I'm picking on you, sorry. I land on Amy's profile, hopefully she's turned it off. Down the right-hand side, there's a little thing that says people also viewed. It could be a list of all her competitors from a search someone did. You can close that off. So go in there, go through all the little bits in there and just refine the experience for your good self. It's worth it. You haven't got to do it all in one hit, just go and do bits and bobs. That's where you can change into the infamous anonymous mode, and you can go and be a bit furtive and look at other people's profiles without them knowing. But if you do that, for Christ's sake, turn it off afterwards, because some of the functionality for the rest of LinkedIn gets turned off at the same time. So, some news. What's going on at the moment in time? Yeah, some of you will have this already. Some of it, I say, in a month's time, I may have some more information about what the algorithm's doing. But some of you may have had the creator mode land upon your desk. Yeah, good old LinkedIn didn't bother telling you, of course, you just found it. And quite often when I do this in a networking meeting, like the room now, 20 people in it, 2 people go, oh, I've got it. And when I tell them where it is, another 2 or 3 people will find, but they did have it, they just didn't know about it. And the rest are going, when am I going to get it? It's LinkedIn, I don't know. They roll out 756 million, it takes a bit of time. And they don't prioritize in the way that they should do. But creator mode, I kind of think go and have a look. So it's in your dashboard, probably better on the phone because it's very obvious on the phone. You put it in there and you'll have it at the top, creator mode off. Yes, you've got it. You didn't know you had it, but it's turned off. It is a mode, which means you can turn it on and off. Turn it on, you're confronted with the first thing you need to do is select 5 hashtags. And the way they word it's very American. It says that talks about. Well, we're speakers, yeah, we talk about it, but for other people, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Then you can do a few other little bits and bobs. It reorders the sections for you, whether you want to do them or not. It's put the activity in the feature section at the top now, rather than the about section. But also, and on the app only on your phone, you really can record that video. So you may have seen people go on their profile, all of a sudden there's a little video for 3 seconds and disappears. You think, what's that? Click on their profile and it gives you the option to open it up. Look, it's a 30-second video with audio you can then record. Calling this cover story, but again, it's a great way of advertising what you do. That's probably the best bit about creator mode. It is putting a lot more emphasis on actual activity, so that's probably not a bad thing, but I would like the old days where I can just reorder the sections to suit me personally. But you'll notice it by having a look at your dashboard from time to time, and all of a sudden you'll notice it's in there, and you go, oh, okay, I didn't know that, because they will never email you to let you know. So creator mode, coming to a profile near you soon. I'm sure some of you have already got it.
Tony, just to let you know, we've gone well over the 45 minutes. So if I could ask you to finish off as quickly as you could, thank you.
Right, okay. Newsletters, yeah, again, coming soon. When you go into your articles, there's a drop-down menu on the left-hand side. You'll notice that newsletters will appear there as a template. Yeah, this is the question I was going to do. I was going to ask you to guess how many accounts have been deleted recently. 37 million have been deleted off of LinkedIn recently. And that's because people have been misusing the user agreement. Okay, they've just literally Go on and use third-party software, which is the biggest sin you can do as far as LinkedIn are concerned. And yeah, they have actually now capped the connection request to 100 per week. So you can't do more than that anyway, which is sensible. I don't know why you'd be wanting to connect more than 100 people a week. So sorry, I ran over slightly, but there you go. That is I had 750 down, so I'm expecting the last 10 minutes to be questions. 42, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry about that. So yeah, any questions, please fire them before the football comes on, please.
Well, what I would suggest is, Tony, if you could save the chat, maybe there are a few questions in the chat. Maybe you could answer them offline at a later stage, because would like to wrap up on time if we can. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just remove the spotlight and go back into gallery view. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our keynote speaker Tony Silver a big round of applause. Some great tips there. Thank you very much, Tony. So let me just share my screen for the final bit of tonight's event. So I'd like to say thank you to a few people, as always. And the first people I would like to say thank you to, of course, are the committee. Amy, Jez, Richard and Mel, who, without whom, of course, I couldn't do the job as regional president. So thank you to them. Thank you to Amy and Richard for the fabulous halo and horn session tonight. Thank you to Jez for your dulcet tones throughout the meeting. And yes, thank you to my committee. Also to our Southeast speaker, QJ, who sloped off. But thank you, QJ, for a really useful and intriguing talk. And of course, our Speaker Factor contestants, Michael, Fran and Louise, who did a fantastic job tonight. And congratulations once again to Michael. Looking forward to seeing him at the convention in October. And of course, I said thank you to them already, but again, massive thank you to Heather, Susan and Graham for judging the Speaker Factor tonight. Thank you guys for coming along and doing a fantastic job. And last but not least, of course, our keynote speaker, Tony K. Silver, who's come along and given us some great tips on LinkedIn. By the way, he did my LinkedIn profile audit. Actually, it got August 2020, nearly a year ago. I can't believe it. Time goes so quickly. And as usual, we have a little present we are going to send up to Tony, which we like to give to our main keynote speakers. This cartoon produced of Tony by my mate Fletch.
Love it.
Fletch Cartoons. That will be winging its way digitally to you tomorrow sometime, Tony.
I love that. I've actually got brown hair, not grey. That's really good.
No, that's what I thought. I can have it recoloured for you if you really want. So
no, it's fine.
And this is, if you'd like to get a cartoon done from Fletch, facebook.com/Fletch Cartoons is the place to go. I'm not going to go through the member benefits because we haven't really got the time to do that, but they're on the screen now I think we have one member. I think we have one non-member in the room who is very welcome here tonight. Here are some of the benefits that you get from joining the PSA, and there are more to come soon. If Michelle was still around, she would be able to tell us what those are. And the membership levels are £150 a year to join as an associate and £225 to join as a professional. There are certain criteria attached to joining as a professional. Also, it's come to that time already. This is our 6th meeting of the year, so we've got 3 more meetings left. But 2022, my Vice President, Amy Rowlinson, will be taking over as the region's esteemed president. I will be on the committee as her immediate past president, but we need more people to join us. So if you want to help out the region, do contact me or Amy or both of us and offer your services up. It's not a particularly onerous task, and it's we have meetings, pre-meeting meetings and post-meeting meetings, and it's all good fun, and we get a lot done, and we have a lot of fun, and put on hopefully some really valuable and useful meetings. And for the dates for the rest of the year, first of all, on July the 16th, there is a PSA Boost event. This is your chance to learn more about the Speaking Business Summit. Linda Shaw, our national president, will be hosting this, and you can witness the live announcement of 3 more summit speakers who will be joining Linda to give you a taste of what's to come at the summit in 2021. So that takes place on Zoom on the 16th of July at 1 o'clock. You should have received an email about it, but if not, it will be on the PSA website, I assume. And finally, our meetings for the rest of the year, we have Michelle Mills-Porter as our keynote speaker on September the 7th, and Mel Louise as our Southeast speaker. We may be back in the room. Watch this space. We'll let you know if we are, as one of the guinea pig regions to be back in the room. On November the 2nd, we have Steve Hyland talking about video, and we have Antoinette Dowell Henderson as our Southeast speaker. And our Christmas meeting, December the 7th, we still are to announce our keynote speaker. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. Thank you for coming along tonight. Hope you found it useful. We'll be hanging about for a little while. And obviously, if you want to get off and grab something to eat and drink and get ready for the football tonight, then please do so. It's been great to having you all along. Thank you very much for attending. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's meeting, and see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the match.
Thanks, Gary. Good luck, Gary. When is your speaker factor, Gary?
Oh, next Wednesday,